Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction or read through for Omniscient Reader, chapters 138, 139, 140, 141, 142, and 143. So Lucky said that the best places to stop for the next two would be chapters 143 and chapters 147. So I'll do 6 this week and I'll do 4 next week since those are good places to stop. And if that is the case anytime in the future, just let me know. I'm already running a little bit behind this week, so this isn't exactly, on Tuesday, but I'm always willing. I'd love to post these videos on Tuesday every week, but if I need to take a little bit longer to make it the best video that it can be for you all, I would rather just not be able to post it until Wednesday, but it be the best video that it can be, than to just rush it on Tuesday and have it not be as good as it could be. So, I'm totally willing to do 6 this week. I'm excited to get to them. Last time we went and met up with Kyrgios Rodgrame, and that's kind of about it. I guess Dokja said he was going to train under him, so we'll see what happens here with all of that. And yeah, I guess I don't want to throw you through a long intro, so let's just start reading. I think the best part of last time was getting Gongpil-du and Soo-young reintroduced, though. Soo-young is so great, and she split up from, I guess Asuka Ren was really great last week too, but she split up from Asuka Ren and Dokja, but we'll see what happens. The plausibility storm. It must be because he killed those 2 Wind Shadow Squadron members earlier. We have Sparks. Since he wasn't summoned because of the scenario, he'll be under immense plausibility limitations, even if it isn't as much as what the constellations feel. The heavens must be asking you to fable a disciple about now. Right. And then, take me in as your disciple. I'll defeat the catastrophe of Peaceland for you. Constellation, prisoner of the Golden Headband, is displeased with Kyrgios Rodgrame's actions. And we saw this last time from all 3 of these. We have Constellation, Demonic Judge of Fire, is offended by Kyrgios Rodgrame's unjust ways, and Constellation, Scribe of Heaven, is protesting Kyrgios Rodgrame's, Rodgraim, maybe? I don't know. Interference in the scenario. I'm just kind of saying Rodgrame's, kind of saving myself a syllable there, but I don't know with the Korean letters if it would be pronounced a bit differently. You seem to have some peculiar fans following you around. I never thought the proud Monkey King and Archangel would ever support anyone. You're right. I cannot save this planet myself, because if I were to intervene in the scenario, all other constellations would also be granted the plausibility to do so. The White Storm of Paradox, Kyrgios Rodgrame. He left his home planet and returned after so many trials and tribulations, only to find himself too powerful to save it from perishing. But that doesn't mean that I can just take you in as a disciple. That is an interesting concept. So we went through all of this, essentially became a constellation himself, and returned to his planet. And he's so powerful that he can't get involved in the sequences to stop it from happening. I do not accept outsiders as disciples. Besides, you're not qualified enough to carry on my legacy of my strength. Would this be enough to prove my worth to you? Damn it. I wonder if you would have accepted it right away if I were Jin-hyuk. It hurts my pride. There's a hidden skill that I purchased as soon as the second scenario was over, he thinks. White pure star energy. And he holds onto a stick. The white star pure energy is Kyrgios Rodgrame's famous technique. And then, let me reintroduce myself. He gets down on his knees. I, outsider, Kim Dokja, am pleased to meet you. The master of the White Storm School. And we see on his phone, Kyrgios Rodgrame was a returnee from a Murim world. Despite being a small person, he managed to master martial arts through hard work and became the most powerful being in the world he was sent to, transcending, maybe, the limit of his species. Tales of his exploits in First Murim are just as numerous as they are legendary. One example would be how he took the lives of all the worshippers of the evil cult who were taller than him, or the story of how he cut off something reproductive organ of a something who made fun of his small stature. But of course, the most legendary tale would be how we befriended the Breaking Sky Sword. Let me make sure you can see all this good on your end. Okay, just double checking. Your cell phone grew smaller with you. And then Soo-young is there looking on. It grew smaller since I had it stored in the Infinite Dimension space coat. Gosh, you og anything this good for yourself. I would have never imagined that the strongest man in the first Murim would be from Peaceland. Well, it's not decided who the strongest actually is, but he is very close. But it's good that he accepted you as a disciple, so they're back together. It took Kirigos 2 whole hours before he accepted me as his disciple. Now we have Chapter 25, Those Who Face a God, Part 4. The White Storm School would have perished after I left. I didn't know I had any surviving disciples. He's using his real voice. Very well. I will accept you as my disciple. He had us waiting here for 2 hours just to tell us that. Wasn't it your goal to return to Veronica Castle within 2 weeks? Will that be enough time for you to master his secret technique? And then, first day of training. Put these on. Wrist and ankle bands made using Peaceland special ore. Today must be my lucky day. Metallic training bands restrict your body. Those are the lightest ones I have, and he's held to the ground. While wearing those, he pulls the sword. Repeat this stab 1,000,000 times. 1,000,000? But that's just a basic stab. Yes, 1,000,000 times. The most important thing in mastering martial arts of the clan of the White Storm School, we seek to expand the smallest point, since the universe stems from one extremely condensed and tempered point. I see. I have no idea what he means. I love that. I see. I have no idea what he means. The second day. Those who were born big like you do not know what it truly means to be small. Humans aren't that big themselves, you know. You're right, from the perspective of the universe itself, all beings are smaller than a speck of dust, so it is wrong to call small people small. Or even humans themselves are but a speck of dust. Sounds like he's overcompensating for a small stature with this theory of his. The smaller you are, the closer you are to the true nature of the universe. It makes it easier for one to understand the essence. What's that got to do with his exercise? And that's why I don't normally associate with the likes of you. Fourth day. Focus. If you were born weak, you should have made up for it by trying even harder. Fifth day. It would have served you better if you were born an insect. Even a cockroach would do a better job learning than you. If there were such a cockroach, I'd like to have him as my master instead. What? And today marked 2 weeks of my training. And then Kyrgios is looking on. It's puzzling how you even managed to master the white pure star energy. I read a book of secrets and it just came to me. I'm not lying, since I did read TWSA. You and that mouth of yours. With a weak body like yours, you'll end up as mincemeat in the blink of an eye. He looks over. Gosh, you have a peculiar way of showing concern for your disciple. I'm just afraid that you might sully the name of the White Storm School. Why won't he just be honest? He's exactly like what I've read in TWSA. Your understanding of the character Kyrgios Rodgrame has increased. And now, we have him standing. At this rate, I'll die from training before I get to do any real fighting. Compared to the universe, this time is nothing but a fleeting moment. Even on a small planet, the sun still looks big. That also is but a speck of dust compared to the universe. Many men have died on this little speck of dust so far. Then are their lives also nothing but specks of dust in the perspective of the universe? Kyrgios looks down sullenly. I've not accepted any disciples for a long time. Even if you did, I'm sure they would have all run away sooner or later. That may be true. Almost everyone who came to me was weak. Everyone in the White Storm School died in the bloodbath of the first Murim, except for the most powerful small person of this world, Kyrgios Rodgrame. All big beings are weak, so it's only right that they should work even harder. The scenarios you'll be up against later on will be incomparable to... You know what? Huh? People died even before the scenarios began to appear, maybe over things that mattered even less than they do now. To tell you the truth, Life was harder for me then, because that world was even more absurd. It was like shackles that tied you down no matter how hard you tried to escape them. So what I wanted to tell you is, don't worry, I'm not going to die. You're a strange one. I get that a lot. You now have 82,000 stabs to go. He won't go easy on he won't go easy on me, will he? It's interesting to note, like, mentioning that to him, because that's probably something, since all of the other people that he taught died, it's probably something that was weighing on Kyrgios. Hey, let's make a run for it. And then he goes to the other two? What? Did you master it already? It looked like you were nowhere near learning it earlier. I managed to steal it. Oh, is it because he increased his understanding of the character, so now we can just use the bookmark? He says something to the two of them. We have the sparks. And then Kyrgios Rodgrame has been added to the 5th bookmark. So yeah, that is what he did then. He learned enough about the character to bookmark him and steal the skill instead of learning it. Okay, just glancing through, but we already know all of this. And that's where we end. Really good chapter again. I liked the training. I liked Kyrgios as a character. I want to really get invested in Kyrgios, but he just doesn't seem like the type of character that's going to be around for that long. He feels similar to Lycone in a lot of ways. So I don't really think he's going to stick around in the story particularly. He's kind of just here for this. But I do really like his story here. And then, most of the focus, as for most chapters of the series, was on Dokja. But Dokja's just such a good character that I think that's totally fine. And yeah, in the end, he got closer to the character, he understood the character better, and now he can use the skills via bookmark. And we're going to end things there for 138. Let's go to 139. 139 starts with some ruins. This isn't the castle, is it? They're coming. We have stomping as the silhouettes start to approach. We see the beast men. They're here, get ready. They're all charging in. Everyone retreat across the Doge Bridge. And now we have our title splash, Chapter 25, Those Who Face a God, Part 5. We have these explosions, just, wow, that guy got messed up. Just sending parts of the small people flying. Those goddamn bastards we have Gongkildu. This land is mine, you hear. And he's actually able to fight back, even at his size. Mister, save your mana. Is that GA? Damn it. So they think they could just breeze through the scenario. Again, pretty certain it's GK because she was here with us in small. It's just the fact that if Won were to tie her hair back into a ponytail, I feel like she wouldn't look that different. And then, Army Man, did you hear anything from Sangar Won yet? I think they're participating in a scenario that's being hosted on Earth right now. Tok just said there'd be a scenario being held there too. Okay, so they're actually dealing with their own struggles here. Damn it. I guess that means we're going to have to stop them. And we have... Dang it, why am I forgetting the old lady's name? We have her here too. And then, how much longer till we're done with the moat? I think we're halfway done. It'll be filled with water soon too. And then GK will be able to use her abilities. Presumably, if that's enough water. What? We have something flying in. Insects? Okay, it's Gil Young and Yusung. He makes a buzz noise. They're coming. And then fight. We get these really nice panels. Again, defend Castle Veronica. Now we have Kyrgios, I guess, noticing that they're gone and being pissed. It's a good panel as well. Oh no, Kyrgios must have noticed we're gone. The faces are great. We should hurry. Are you sad to leave him behind? What? No, I love her face. I mean, I get it. This is the first time you've seen a character you've created come to life, right? And he was quite the looker, too. No, you've got it all wrong. In TWSA, the phrase as handsome as Yu Jung-kyuk is used whenever the author needs to describe someone who's good looking, and Kyrgios is the perfect example of that. Although he's a little short and talks like an old man, it would be so cool, like whenever we get to learn more about the author of TWSA. But I feel like that's something that we shouldn't learn. Like, I guess if we learn it kind of early, I won't be like disappointed or anything, but that just feels like something that's so important and so key that we should probably not learn it until almost the end, you know? But it depends on what the author's doing with the series, I guess. I think it could be done well either way. And she's affected by something and staggers. Hey, are you alright? The Sovereign of Eight Heads has started moving. He's commanding all the catastrophes to gather at the Absolute Throne. I can resist his command because I chose to become a small person. But those who chose to become a catastrophe... Okay, so they'll have to listen. I'll go see what's going on in the front lines. And Su-young separates from them again. I couldn't tell Kyrgios anything. I couldn't apologize to him for creating such a world that I made him suffer through such tragedy. The story I created had already taken on a life of its own. And then we have Kyrgios looking back at Dokja. It's because they're now more than just your creation. You can't feel responsible for the lives that have already left your hands. That's someone else's problem. Mr. Kim, are you also a writer? No, I'm a reader. It's literally my name. I'm so jealous of the writer whose work is being read by a reader like you. Dokja, and then Su-young's running back. She points over, and they go and see all this destruction with the sunrise, but it looks like the castle's still okay from a distance. And we end there. Okay, that felt kind of quick. It was very good once again. I like the moment between Asuka and Dokja there. More, I don't know, the story being read by a reader like you, just more deep stuff with Dokja's character and the overall themes of ORV in general. Su-young's great. All of her faces were so good. But either way, let's continue. And we got to see what's going on at the castle, at least a little bit. I don't know how they're planning to fill it with water, but once they have that, then we might have Jihye's abilities, which should be OP for them, hopefully. But we'll see. Chapter 140 starts with them looking on. And we get to see the shot from last time. It's a really good shot, by the way, though. Now we have episode 140, chapter 25, Those Who Face a God, part 6. How? What's going on? Sorry, hiccup, we have blood on Jihye. We were doing fine until a moment ago. I thought we'd be able to defend Veronica Castle, and all the small people are schlumped. They're down. We get into a flashback. We have a kick, and then people yelling to fight as they're trying to kick in the giant drawbridge. Defend Veronica. And then they're taking the front gate. If this keeps up, we're... And he gets grabbed off the wall. Very Attack on Titan-esque feeling there. Incarnation, Shoji Michio, or Michio Shoji. They didn't switch the names for the Japanese characters, I don't think. Michio Shoji used the skill Flying Squirrel Walk, level 6. And then he's coming in from above. We have a slash to the arm. And then guy looks pissed. Swings a hammer down toward him, but then gets shot by... Gongpil-do is honestly kind of busted. He's kind of the MVP here. But the guy is still tanking it. And water rushes in up to their knees. Reload. And now we have all the ships appear. Fire. And the ships start demolishing some of these guys, it seems like. Then get stabbed in the eye. Some has defeated the catastrophe that is yet to be named. What does that mean? Or Some? Is that somebody's name? But the catastrophe that is yet to be named has defeated. So, isn't the catastrophe yet to be named? I thought that was Izumi. Has Izumi been defeated? Main contributors Lee Ji-hye, Gongpil-do, and Michio Shoji. A constellation who's yet to reveal his nickname shows interest in the incarnation Michio Shoji. We can do this. Yeah. If we keep this up. I don't know what that message was about. Like, defeated the catastrophe that is yet to be named. So was that somebody who was going to become a third catastrophe? Because when we get something like that, like completing a big scenario kind of thing, we get the main contributor tag usually. And like when the catastrophes on Earth were defeated. But we're getting this here for them. We can do this. Yeah, if we keep this up, we may be able to defend Veronica Castle. Take them down one at a time. And we see the serpent in the background rising up. What the hell is that supposed to be? There's no way we can stop something like that. The King of Catastrophes has received a scenario buff. Penalties have partially been lifted from the constellation Sovereign of Eight Heads. And we see the Yamata no Orochi. And a splat going past Ji-hye. As somebody just gets vaporized, essentially. Help me, and we have people screaming. Body parts strewn everywhere as Dokcha's group makes it there. You've encountered a renowned catastrophe. What the hell is that thing? And we see the snakes. Izumi. And Izumi is like in this little center coil of it that we saw before. It looks like his face is cracking. The King of Catastrophes reveals himself. Renowned catastrophe currently encountered 2 of 2. The King of Catastrophes, Izumi Hiroki, the Sovereign of Eight Heads. Damn it. My friends. They all seem fine, but seem to have lost the will to fight. Everyone here is now just prey for that fabled constellation to hunt down. The shadow of the constellation, Sovereign of Eight Heads, has manifested itself in the scenario. The Sovereign of Eight Heads, Yamata no Orochi. So we're actually having the constellation manifest. We shouldn't fight him. There's no way we can beat him. And then we see the soldiers still just getting slaughtered. Dokcha, you're not going to fight that thing, are you? We should run. Come on, let's run, says So Young. It's not too late. We still have time, to save them. We should go get them and just wait a little. Hey, they're all gonna die, you hear me? I can never kill him if I try to fight him now. A little more. Just a little more. And the jaws are opening over Ji-hye. Damn it. He rushes in. But somebody gets there first? Okay, so Jungkook was with Seolhwa, right? Because that looks like his silhouette. And we get cliffhung on that. So I'm assuming, let's go back to the silhouette. I'm assuming, yeah, that's gotta be Jungkook. So that means he and Seolhwa are there. I still don't really know what Seolhwa can do, but I'm assuming she's strong too since she's with them. Okay. Wow. So this is going crazy. It seems like, in a lot of ways, the idea of, defending the small people, it's not going well for the small people. Like, even if we win, a lot of the small people are probably kind of gone. But the good news, I guess, is that if they do somehow handle Yamata no Orochi, which is something that, hunting down the target, it's something he's going to have to do anyway. If he kills the manifestation of a constellation, that is That's got to be something crazy for an incarnation to do, though, if Dokja's able to accomplish it. So again, I think that's going to be the big thing here, is trying to defeat the Yamata no Orochi somehow. And if they do, I guess that's the good news, because the scenario is pretty much over at that point. That is like the threat here. And we still have yet to see Dokja busting out the powers he just stole. So, it's not too hopeless, I think, from a reader's perspective, but things did not go well when Dokja wasn't around. Either way, though, let's move on to the next one. Okay, starting 141. We have an explosion through one of the walls. Now, Dokja's surprised. Looks over to Jihye. Kim Dokja. Junghyuk's here. You're late, Junghyuk. Now we have our title splash, Chapter 25, Those Who Face a God, Part 7. One of the heads cries out as Junghyuk jumps back from it. And again, we still see Izumi just like in the center of this coil. He slides back to where Dokja is. And the two stand together again. We just need to have our cool shots in ORV. So many of the panels are like this. He brought that sword with him just as I expected. We get a better shot of the sword itself. Constellation, the Sovereign of Eight Heads, has expressed hostility towards you. Move, Dokja. I'm going to bring him down myself. No, I can't let you do that. This time, I need to do it myself. You're no match against him. Oh, right. Right. Dokja not only has to find a way to defeat Yamata no Orochi. I didn't even think about this last chapter. Because it's like, oh, yeah, Junghyuk comes in for the save. But no, Dokja, because of the bonus scenario, has to be, as part of his trial, has to be the one to get the kill here. He can't just let Junghyuk have the kill. You're no match against him. Constellations who hate humans are expressing their hatred towards you. Constellations who love carnage and violence are running rampant. Constellations who hate humans are wishing for your death. I know a few of the constellations who are sending those messages right now. They're the constellations who joined B. Young's channel in the 5th scenario, and drove a certain someone I know to death. I made a promise, so I have to take that thing down myself. Personal skill bookmark has been activated. A promise? I promised that I'll have my revenge on the constellations who drove her to death. I made 3 promises to Yusung of the 41st round. First, that I would beat up that Dokbi to a pulp. Second, was to bring her back to life. The third and last promise was to avenge her death against all the constellations who voted to have her killed. Oh. And now we're seeing Junghyuk look on. That's not a good enough reason for me to let you have him. He definitely knows what I mean, but he's pretending to not know. Constellation Sovereign of Eight Heads has been angered. And he fires a settle, essentially. They both dodge. Then, Yamata no Orochi is an evil creature that repeatedly appears in ancient Japanese mythos. At this point in time, there's only one way for me to fight against it. It's just the shadow of the constellation, and it's still so powerful. I see that you've managed to bring the Totsuka no Tsurugi. So that's the sword used to kill it in the legend, then. You knew about this sword? Of course, it's a famous sword. Totsuka no Tsurugi was the sword that the ancient Japanese deity Susanoo used to cut down Yamata no Orochi. Okay, so I was right last read-through when I was like, the one that Izumi was supposed to have, the one that killed Yamata no Orochi, that's Susanoo, right? Okay. I was trying to remember who it was. I was like, it's not Amaterasu, I think it's Susanoo. It was Susanoo then. So that means that Yamata no Orochi has been defeated before, according to the fable. Just as it did for General Gyabek and a million-year-old creature with 100 legs, it's their defeat that ends up being the greatest weakness of a fable. You insolent insects. and they hear its voice. A bunch of the small people start dying, I guess just from the impact of that. Even Gil Young's coughing up blood from it. He's even using his true voice. Personal skill Fourth Wall's been activated. It looks like you can barely talk. Why don't you just keep quiet? And it seems like he has fire breath going now too. And then Dokja's able to avoid the flames. We have Jungkook going in. Character Yu Jungkook has used Giant Body Transformation level 2. Okay, so he can use a skill to make himself larger again. I don't think he makes himself fully large, but he's at least not tiny small anymore. He slices a bit. It looks like maybe another one of the heads bursting. Is this one of the things where do the heads grow back or do they need to kill all 8? I mean, it's not the Hydra, so I'm not 100% sure. And is that a tail? I can't tell. He dashes forward and slices off another of the heads. Jumps off of it again. And is going through another. Constellation, the Sovereign of 8 Heads, is crying out. So we see 5 heads here left that aren't sliced off. And then we end there. That was a quick one. Or maybe it wasn't a quick one. There was just a lot of art. But the action in this one was really good. I like that we see that Jungkook came literally prepared with the weapon that killed it in the fable. And if you are your story, then if you're a constellation who was never defeated, never died, anything like that in your story, you're probably like pretty nuts, I feel like, when it comes to existing in the world of ORV. But if you have been defeated before, then the nature of how you've been defeated is the biggest weakness for you because you are your story. But, again, though he has the sword, and though Jungkook is Jungkook, Dokja has to somehow not only defeat a constellation's shadow, their sort of physical appearance here, but also has to do so while making sure, I would assume, that Jungkook doesn't get the kill. Dokja actually needs it. Okay, just making sure there's nothing after that. There never is, but just want to check just in case. Let's go on to the next chapter. Next is chapter 142, where we're starting with what we just saw. Okay, webtoons? What was that? Okay, we're starting where we left off. And then crying out. So we're getting a pretty sizable recap there. Dokja, you're just going to watch. Didn't you say you were going to hunt him down yourself? Right, Dokja's like, oh, I need to do it myself. What are you talking about? And then Dokja proceeds to not help. Oh, what I meant was that I was going to get the last hit on him. The little teeny chibi Dokja is so good. Why you? Now, chapter 25, Those Who Face a God, part 8. Giant body transformation lasts for about 5 minutes. I know that Jungkook is tired and wants to end it quickly, but it's not time yet. And now we have more of the heads coming in and getting sliced. So really, I thought it was going to be extremely difficult to deal with Yamata and Orochi, and maybe without Jungkook, maybe it would be extremely difficult, but Jungkook is not having a tough time, it seems like. Now another's coming in. It looks like he might be shrinking back down to the small size. He has to dodge this time. But another... did I speak too soon? And he just immediately starts getting clapped. Character Yu Jungkook's activated the skill Tiger God Aura level 5. And I think he's using that to help him tank the hit. But he gets sent flying backwards the second time I think we've seen this happen to him, because Dokja managed to do it before. The sword goes flying up into the air and lands conveniently by Dokja, so he can just steal it. Dokja, I told you to help me. I'm going to now. You idiot, you can't take that thing down alone. You should retreat for now, and then... You did well, Jungkook. Deactivating the metallic training bands. Now just watch. And he drops the weights. Gwa! And did he... It looks like he is picking up the sword out of the ground. Okay, it looked a little bit different at first, but now I see it. Bookmark number 5 has been activated. Skill duration, 3 minutes. You have a great understanding of the character, but only a fraction of the skill's power will take effect as the character's skill level surpasses yours. That's fine. Even a fraction works for me. This skill can only be used by small people. Your physical traits are similar to that of the character. Okay, so once we go back to the real world, or, well, back to Earth, I should say. Like, what is the real world, no RV? Once we go back to Earth, I'm assuming that he'll need to replace this bookmark because he's not going to be able to use the ability anymore. Unless he keeps it for some time that he might grow small again in the future. The skill cannot be used to the full effect as the character's skill level surpasses yours. There's only one skill I need anyway. Level of the skill being used has been adjusted accordingly. He steps forward. Personal skill Electrification level 10 has been activated. And we see at least 3 heads. I think 4 actually. The size of one's consciousness determines one's worth. This allows one to see into the depths of the universe, even in the smallest of things. The origin of everything is all but a small speck. Hence, there is greatness in small things. And we see him coming in for this attack. Again, a really great panel here. I love the way that the back of the snake's head looks. We see Kyrgios reflected behind him, like what happens with the bookmark. He takes off another of the heads. And another. And I can't... Yeah, I think right here is a third being separated. So it might be down to 1. He lands. Constellation Sovereign of 8 Heads is shocked by your swordsmanship. Yeah, and it's left with 1 head left. Constellation Sovereign of 8 Heads is questioning the fairness of the scenario. Shouldn't I be the one to question the fairness of it all? Electrification lasts for 3 minutes, but I don't think I can take more than 3 steps in my current state. He pops a potion. In other words, I only have 3 steps to kill that thing. It's unfortunate to see a great constellation such as yourself crying for help. Gosh, I am at my wit's end here. This just won't do. And the Dokkaebi comes back in, and nobody in the comments even tried to guess what word I was thinking of when seeing this Dokkaebi. But, yeah, I'm just gonna still leave that one vague and up to interpretation. Constellation Sovereign of 8 Heads is crying out in anger. And crying out towards the Dokkaebi too now. Throwing a fit won't get you anywhere this time. I understand how you feel, but you've probably used up all the probability that you've been allowed for this scenario. They won't lend you any more power. Or they won't lend you power anymore. We have everyone down. Protect the king. Stop them. And we have all of the other big people, the catastrophes, rushing in now. Hyunsung is still up, trying to protect him. Same with Pildu. Pildu has kind of been goated. Also, it's nice to see Hyunsung get, like, a panel, but I still feel like Hyunsung sadly does, like... It's not that Hyunsung does nothing. Hyunsung does a lot. It's just most of it is, like, random one-off panels and background stuff. It feels like we get a lot less character for Hyunsung than the others. Wait, sir. What are you... Look here, if you lost your mind, Management Center, we have a problem. This could be the omen of a probability storm. And he's trying to do too much. You're trying to do too much, Yamata no Orochi. He's going to gain ownership of Izumi's body through an unfair contract and expand his fable reviving the White Demon world. Someone has interfered with the scenario system. Okay. Trying to see if anything was changed there. Doesn't look like it. Okay. Recap is the same. So I wonder if this last message is Yamata no Orochi, trying to come even more physically into the world, taking over Izumi's body, basically becoming a second reincarnation of himself, it seems like. Is that what this means? Or does it mean that somebody is interfering to stop Yamata no Orochi from doing what he's trying to do? or what they're trying to do. So, either way, that's the end of that one. We have one more before I was told it was a good place to end for the week, so let's read 143. And I'll be honest with you, I've been trying my hardest. I've been trying so hard not to rush, but I feel like I haven't had as much to discuss, and also I've kind of been plowing through it because it's been really exciting, but also it's been action. It's just been a lot of action. Not as much of the, like, deep character stuff. Of course, there is still character stuff going on within the action, but it's been mostly just battle here. So we're at chapter 143, and so I'm excited. If this is a decent place to end, it's like, what happens here? Does this bring about a change in the nature of this arc, or does this bring about the end of Yamata no Orochi right now? And then, you know, next time I'm going to read 4 chapters. It's like, I probably shouldn't be trying to guess ahead of time based on when is a good place to stop, but still, it makes me curious. Either way, let's read our last chapter for this week. 143, chapter 25, Those Who Face a God, part 9. And now the title, of course, Those Who Face a God, Yamata no Orochi, one of the constellations. Now it makes sense. Like, it probably would have made sense chapters ago if I was paying closer attention to that. But yeah, I get it. And expand his fable, reviving the white demon world. Someone's interfered in the scenario system. And again, I'm thinking it. I'm thinking about one word, seeing this panel. A mere human. And I love the constellation dialogue boxes, especially when they get crazier, I guess because it's using more of its real voice. Dare defy the great star using a measuring sword. And we see even blood coming from Dokja's mouth. Even the ones who are already taken down have more blood coming from their mouths. It's even affecting the catastrophes on Yamata no Orochi's own side. I could never beat that thing, even if I had used electrification. Not at my power level. However, he smiles, you just made the biggest mistake of your life. The star stream is governed by balance. Oh, is it going to balance things by allowing Kyrgios to get involved? Because Kyrgios was too strong before, but now that somebody as strong as Yamata no Orochi is trying to force his way in, it can be balanced by Kyrgios being allowed to interfere. If someone breaks their probability, another person ends up getting it. Since when was another world god allowed to interfere in this scenario? And then we see just this ball of energy up here. Do not meddle in the affairs of my planet, unless you want to face me in this planet where my fable was birthed. So it kind of makes me wonder, when we were seeing the tiny constellation of the tiny planet, that's not Kyrgios, is it? The personality expressed through the donations didn't really feel that much like Kyrgios. Like, is Kyrgios different? I mean, technically Kyrgios is a fable, but somehow not a constellation, right? I don't know, it's a little confusing. Then, die, you monster from the other world. And it seems like it's being cast back. Gah. Kya, you. And its shadow is falling apart. And this is when Dokja takes the opportunity to go... His face here, sorry. This isn't a funny moment. This is like a really cool moment, because it notices, oh shit, he's coming in to kill me. Dokja's face looks so intense and awesome. But then this face is so funny to me. Just the shock, like, oh shit, as it's getting just about to be slaughtered, blown away by Dokja. That battle's so funny to me. That's so good. Constellation, the Sovereign of Eight Heads, furrows his eyes. Wow, this is really cool. This is really cool. Please end it. Please, put all the stars to rest. Dokja nods as he swings. Constellation, the Sovereign of Eight Heads, expresses anger towards his incarnation. And then his head gets cut off, interrupting him. You have killed your own species. Oh. So this then kills Izumi, which takes away Dokja's King of No Killing, right? So he's sacrificing King of No Killing, which means that he can't revive himself anymore, right? He's sacrificing that in order to do what he's doing to try to bring back Yusung of the 41st round. Man, this is crazy too. And again, the idea like Dokja is sick of the constellations, and from reading TWSA doesn't like the constellations and the way they do things. And it's like the idea of putting them to rest, like ending their stories, I guess. Like, if your story is who you are, then isn't every person kind of immortal so long as their story's remembered? But it's like, what does it mean to kill a constellation, you know? And even now, I don't think he really killed the constellation. I don't know that this kills Yamata no Orochi, because this was just his shadow that was brought into the world through his incarnation. This might just kill Izumi. You have lost the title, the King of No Killing. You have accomplished an astonishing achievement. You're the first in this scenario to have hunted the King of Catastrophes. The system cannot grade the King of Catastrophes that's appeared for the current scenario. You've achieved a non-existing fable. And then, you've successfully fulfilled the main scenario's clear condition. All the Dokubi of the Seoul Dome and the Tokyo Dome will now enter into a meeting as you have completed an impossible scenario. So wow, the star stream itself, not the constellations, but the rules, the law that keeps this in place, is like it deemed what happened here and the threat that they were up against with Yamata no Orochi. They viewed it as impossible, and he still won. So it's like, what do you even get from this? None of you will ever understand what it feels like for someone to give it their all, only to finally end up at the starting line. The sixth scenario has come to an end, and we see a star up in the sky blink out. So maybe through killing Izumi while he was being possessed, maybe that did kill Yamata no Orochi. Yamata no Orochi dies out here. And if Yamata no Orochi dies out here, then is the starting line now, it's like, okay, he killed the first constellation. Is the sky just going to look like it has light pollution and there's no stars out there by the time Dokja's done with them? And then I finally arrived at the starting line for the track that heads for the ending I want. I love this stepping forward from the panel. Almost like, maybe I'm looking too far into it. This sounds like some English teacher stuff, you know, the generic English teacher reading too much into things. I was going to say almost like he's stepping out of the panel. He's like transcending the idea of a story. Congratulations, the Star Stream has acknowledged your accomplishments. Kyrgios looks on. You have achieved a total of 4 fables. Now, you must now achieve one last fable to become a constellation. So he only needs 1. Okay. So what's going to happen with Little Savior? Like, we're pretty much done with that. I feel like maybe we wrap that up. So the next 4 chapters, I think maybe we wrap this up. We head back to Earth, and we see what Huiwon and Sangha have been dealing with. Something like that. Because it feels like we've pretty much handled the catastrophes. And I don't know what's going to happen to Asuka and Michio. I guess they're just going to go back to Japan and be like, yeah, we're friends, and maybe we'll someday see them again or something. Who knows? Like, eventually all the incarnations would be brought together, right? All the remaining ones. And then, of course, both of those. It says currently encountered 1 out of 2, but it seems, I'm pretty sure we killed both. And then we see serpent hunting, which will be done. And so that means, I guess, sometime in the future we need to go back to see or to talk to Persephone again, right? Because we get the trust of the Queen of the Darkest Spring. And just, for all of these, just tons of coins. Like, stats are going to be about as high as you can get them here. But either way, that's... Oh, and we had, oh gosh, I don't want to look at the future thumbnails. But we have, don't could be in the thumbnail here. Either way, I guess that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching this one, so much for sticking through it. I've got to go do some stuff, and I'll try to get this video up as quickly as possible. Again, if ever in the future you want me to do more chapters at the cost of maybe, like, I'll still try to get everything up on Tuesday, but if you think the video would be better to end at a certain spot, like, it would have probably been way better ending here than anywhere else. So if ever that's the case in the future, just let me know, and I'll do, you know, however many it takes to make it good, even if it's over an hour long. This didn't actually end up that long because the chapters were very action heavy. But yeah, all of this was amazing. I freaking love ORV. I'm so excited for the anime, especially, gosh, after Tower of God, should I even say that? But especially if it has Ufotable or Ufotable or whatever, however you pronounce them, if it has them doing it, maybe the anime could be really good, and ORV deserves it. ORV is so good. I'm so excited. I hope they don't change their names. Tell me, do any of you, have you read the Japanese translation? Because it's kind of weird. In Tower of God, pretty much all of the Korean names are localized to Japanese. So I feel like that doesn't work for ORV though. ORV, you would have to keep the Korean names. You would have to keep the Korean culture. And a lot of the food and stuff for the anime here has been localized into Japanese food rather than Korean food when it comes to Tower of God. But it feels like you can't do that with ORV because it being Korean is really a part of the identity here. And of course, now you have Japan coming in and playing an important role. So it just makes me interested. Like, if any of you read the Japanese translation, do any of you know how it handles that? But I'm so excited for that. I really, especially after this, I haven't watched all of Pyro Prima's read-throughs because he's ahead of me, but I really want to go watch some now. So thank you all for watching. Like if you like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of these chapters, my thoughts and reaction. Subscribe for more. Omniscient Reader, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. We can talk there. We always talk about ORV, Kubera, tons of other things. So if you want a link, free and open for anyone. If you want to help support the channel by dropping a super thanks, that is appreciated. But if you want to also help support the channel, get your name at the end of every single video, and get One Piece videos a little bit early, you can hit join down below to become a member. Go to patreon.com/HakuOfTheTubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Thank you to people who are already patrons and channel members. Thank you to Chosen Regular F and Holly, Magical Girls, FR Nono, Abyss Knight, JA, and the D-Ban, Cheriton students, David Langstaff and Folded Ghoul, and Slayer candidates SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Element Paterial. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.